The shocking truth is that millions of men in their prime working years have quietly stepped away from the traditional workforce and are not coming back anytime soon. Think about that for a second. Economists, including those tracking data from places like Indeed, have confirmed that women now outnumber men in the workforce, and this shift shows every sign of being permanent, with the gap unlikely to reverse. It is not some temporary blip caused by a recession or a single economic event. It reflects a deeper choice that men across the country and beyond are making every single day. They are opting out of the old expectations, the endless grind, the pressure to prove their worth through jobs that drain them and relationships that often leave them with nothing but exhaustion. Instead, they are finding ways to survive and even thrive on their own terms, whether through gig work, building small businesses at home, remote consulting, using safety nets they qualify for, or simply living far below their means while discovering real peace. This is the story of men walking away, and it hits close to home because I have been living it myself, and the freedom on the other side feels like something I never knew I needed until I slowed down and let it in. If you're enjoying these angry guy videos and the straightforward conversations we have here, you can show your support by buying me a Red Bull with a one time gift or setting up a monthly pledge using the link in the description of the video. It really helps keep the content coming without any corporate strings attached. I do not want to work anymore, and I am far from alone in that feeling. For decades, I chased the idea that building a certain kind of life with steady income and visible success would make everything fall into place. I thought having money and status would bring happiness and respect, but looking back, it mostly brought stress and a sense that I was running on a treadmill that never stopped. Society pushed this narrative that men had to grind endlessly to be valuable. And for a long time, I bought into it, pushing through health challenges and trying to fit into a system that did not seem to care much about the toll it took. Then something shifted. I started seeing the data and hearing from so many others who felt the same pull to step back. Women now hold more jobs than men in the workforce, and that number keeps growing because men are choosing different paths. They are using non traditional ways to make money, like day trading, tapping into safety nets such as food stamps, Medicaid, or Social Security disability when they qualify, jumping into the gig economy, delivering orders, or building businesses from home that let them work on their own schedule. Some take remote project based consulting gigs through platforms like Fiverr, where they can pick and choose what they do without the soul crushing 9 to 5 routine. These men listened when they were told they were no longer needed in the old ways, and instead of fighting it, they walked away and found something better in the quiet of their own space. This brings me back to my own journey, because after years of that aggressive hustle, I reached a point where I simply did not want to work anymore in the traditional sense. I have been diving deep into retro gaming and modern handheld PC gaming lately, and it has opened up a whole new world of peace that I did not expect. I picked up the Odin 2 Portal Max, and it has been a game changer in every sense. This device is basically a powerful Android handheld with great controls and a screen that makes everything feel immersive, yet portable enough to use anywhere. Setting it up took some time, but once I did, it transformed how I approach my days. I have been using translation layers like FX, which Valve helped develop, and that has been integrated into apps such as Game Native and Game Hub. These tools let me run a surprising number of full PC games right on the Android handheld, even though it uses cell phone chipsets at its core. It is not perfect for every title, but it works remarkably well for many, and for the ones that need a bit more power, I can stream them through services like GeForce Now. Suddenly, the idea of needing heavier hardware like a Steam Deck for portable play faded away because this lightweight device with excellent battery life lets me game comfortably, even in bed or while relaxing at home. The retro gaming side of it has been even more rewarding. I have built up a massive backlog of thousands of games from older consoles that are often considered abandonware now. Titles from the SNES, PS2-3 Deciseconds, and even some Nintendo Switch games run smoothly through emulation on the Odin 2 portal. It feels like rediscovering childhood favorites and exploring games I missed the first time around, all without any new purchases or subscriptions pulling at my wallet. Emulation has come such a long way that I can play almost anything from those eras with solid performance, and the controls on the Odin make it feel natural. There is something deeply satisfying about firing up a classic and losing myself in it for hours without the pressure of the outside world demanding my attention or productivity. I have my huge Steam library with over 1,500 games and more than 600 on GOG, plus all these retro titles. And instead of feeling overwhelmed by the backlog, it now feels like a treasure trove of entertainment that I can enjoy at my own pace. I honestly did not realize how much peace I would discover until I took some real time off recently, a full month where I stepped back from the constant grind. I had delayed setting up the Odin 2 for months, but once I finally did and installed the emulators along with Game Native and Game Hub, everything clicked. I could play outright PC games on its stream, what did not run natively, and suddenly my days felt lighter. For the first time in years, I slowed down enough to actually experience that calm, and it felt incredibly good. I stopped caring as much about what was happening in the rest of the world beyond the essentials, using tools like the Unhook for Chrome and Revanced on Android. I blocked out the endless YouTube shorts, recommended videos, comments, home feed, and subscription distractions. So now I only go to specific channels for videos I want to watch. No more algorithm trapping me with dopamine hits from thumbnails or endless scrolling. I removed thumbnails entirely so I just see titles, which keeps things focused. I stepped away from other social media, completely closing and deactivating accounts that only added noise. Even though I create content myself, I have reduced my own time on YouTube dramatically, choosing instead to spend my days working through that massive backlog on the Odin 2 portal, diving into retro gems from the PS2 and SNES eras, or trying newer titles that run well on the handheld. This shift has been about more than just gaming, though. It is about recognizing that after decades of focusing on building a life that would make me look valuable to others or chasing the idea that lots of money would equal happiness, I am done with that cycle. The research backs it up. Men are opting out of society, dating, and the traditional workforce, choosing instead to stay home, relax, and enjoy simple pleasures like video games. I did not expect the depth of peace that came with it, but once I felt it, I knew I did not want to go back to aggressive grinding. Being productive still matters, but it is no more important than protecting your mental health and finding real calm in your daily life. Hustle culture sold us this idea that we had to keep pushing harder and faster. But so many men are waking up to the fact that those lives do not last forever, and constant striving often comes at too high a cost. I am done with it. And I see more and more guys reaching the same conclusion despite all the demands to keep building and providing. The truth is, these men have listened to the message that they were not needed in the old ways, and they have walked away without looking back. They are focusing on their solitude and the peace it brings, creating lives that prioritize their own well being over endless performance. For me, that has meant embracing this gaming setup as a central part of my days, the Odin 2 Portal Max, handling everything from emulation of classic consoles to running PC titles through those clever layers like FX in Game Native and Game Hub. It feels liberating to know I can enjoy thousands of games across eras without the pressure of a 9 to 5 schedule dictating my time. I have found something better in these quiet moments of play and exploration, and it has changed how I see the future. Society and the expectations placed on men pushed many of us to the brink, but stepping away has revealed that there is real contentment in simplicity and self directed time. Men are done with a system that often punished them for simply being who they are, and they have discovered peace on the other side of walking away. They are living far below their means, embracing minimalism, which comes naturally to many guys, and turning their focus inward toward health, hobbies, and real relaxation. Video games, especially offline, retro ones through emulation, have become a big part of that for me and for others. There is no need to chase validation through high earnings or traditional success when you can build a fulfilling day around things that actually bring joy without draining you. The Odin 2, with its emulation capabilities for PS2, NES, 3 deciseconds, and more, plus the ability to run PC games via Game Hub and Game Native, has shown me that technology can support this simpler path rather than tying me to more work. I do not want to work anymore in the old sense because I have found something that feels sustainable and peaceful, and I know I am not alone. This movement of men walking away extends beyond just quitting jobs. It is about rejecting the whole package of expectations that no longer serve us. Women were told they could have it all, and men were increasingly sidelined in the narrative, so many guys decided to stop playing a game rigged against them. Instead, they are building lives centered on their own peace, refusing to spend money on relationships that disrupt that calm, practicing what some call financial discipline by avoiding unnecessary drains. They focus on mental and physical well being, enjoying hobbies like gaming and living in ways that feel authentic. For me, the journey through retro gaming and handheld PC setups like the Odin 2 Portal Max has been a big part of rediscovering that joy. I can emulate a vast library of games, creating a personal archive that brings back memories and introduces new adventures, all while keeping costs low and stress even lower. It is a far cry from the days of constant striving, and it feels like the right direction, not just for me, but for the growing number of men who see the same writing on the wall. The data from economists shows male labor force participation dropping steadily, while women hold more jobs, and that trend is unlikely to reverse because the motivation has changed for so many guys. They have done the math and decided that the return on endless work is not worth it, especially when the alternative is this kind of peace. I have my custom desktop Ryzen set up for heavier tasks, but the Odin 2 has become my go to for relaxed gaming sessions that stretch across afternoons or evenings without any guilt about productivity. Emulation opens up entire catalogs from past eras: SNSS classics, PS2 favorites, 3 deciseconds ports, and even some Switch titles running smoothly enough to lose yourself in. Combined with Game Native and Game Hub for PC games, it feels like having an entire arcade and console collection in one portable device. This is the kind of freedom that makes stepping away from traditional work feel not like giving up, but like choosing better. I spent years believing I had to keep pushing to build something impressive, but the peace I have found in slowing down and embracing these gaming worlds has shown me otherwise. Men are opting out in bigger numbers, surviving through creative means, and focusing on what actually matters to them. For many, that includes diving into retro gaming and modern handhelds, discovering that happiness does not require a big paycheck or constant external validation. I do not want to work anymore because I have built a rhythm that supports my health, my interest, and my calm, and it feels sustainable in a way the old path never did. The Odin 2 Portal Max, with its fixed translation for PC games through Game Native Game Hub and robust emulation for older consoles has been instrumental in that shift. It lets me explore thousands of titles at my own pace, creating a cozy personal escape that recharges rather than depletes. Society may panic about men walking away from the workforce in traditional roles, but from where I stand, it looks like a necessary correction toward balance and self preservation. Women can step up to hold things down as inflation and infrastructure challenges mount, but men are no longer willing to carry the load at the expense of their own well being. I do not care about the noise anymore. I care about protecting this peace I have found through simple living and immersive gaming sessions. The future for many men is relaxing at home, working less or not at all in traditional jobs, never marrying or dating if it does not serve them, and focusing on hobbies that bring real satisfaction. Retro gaming through emulation on devices like the Odin 2 has become a cornerstone of that for me, allowing me to connect with joy from the past while enjoying modern capabilities in a portable form. It is a story of discovering that after decades of grinding, we deserve this kind of freedom, and most men are heading in the same direction once they taste it. The core premise here is that once a man discovers genuine peace, the idea of returning to a life that constantly disrupts it becomes unthinkable. He will fight to protect that calm because it is more valuable than any external reward the old system promised. I have lived both sides, and the handheld gaming setup with its vast emulation library and PC game compatibility has helped solidify that choice. Like, I can play for hours without the mental load of deadlines or performance metrics, and it feels like a quiet rebellion that brings contentment. Like, men are done, and they are not looking back, choosing solitude, simplicity, and the worlds inside their games over the exhaustion of trying to meet endless demands. This is where I am right now, and where so many others are headed, finding their peace through these personal journeys, one game at a time. Let me take you further into this realization, because the shift did not happen overnight for me or for the millions of men experiencing it. It came after years of noticing the patterns in my own life and in the broader culture, the way traditional work often felt like pouring energy into a bucket with holes in it. I would push hard, build skills, chase opportunities, and still end up feeling like the rewards were fleeting, especially when health issues from years of stress started catching up. Then the data started confirming what many of us sensed intuitively, men stepping back from the labor force in growing numbers, not because they are lazy, but because they are recalibrating what a good life actually looks like. Economists point to structural changes like the move from manufacturing to service jobs. But beneath that is this motivational change where men see less reason to participate in a system that extracts their effort without delivering proportional peace or security. Instead, they turn to alternative ways of sustaining themselves, whether through benefits they qualify for creative online work or simply minimizing expenses to match a quieter lifestyle. For me, that meant leaning into the gaming space I had always loved but never fully embraced as a central part of my days. The Odin 2 Portal Max became a symbol of that new chapter. I unboxed it after delaying for months and immediately started exploring its potential. Installing emulators opened up libraries of games from consoles I grew up with and ones I missed. The PS2 library alone is massive, with titles that hold up remarkably well today, running smoothly on the device. SNES games feel crisp and responsive, with the built in controls making platformers and RPGs a joy to revisit. Even 3 deciseconds emulation through tools like Azahar or retro arch brings back handheld nostalgia in a modern form. Then there is the PC gaming side, where FX and apps like Game Native and Game Hub shine, allowing me to run Windows titles directly on the Android hardware. It is impressive how far these translation layers have come, handling everything from older games to some more recent ones with decent performance. For anything too demanding, I stream, and the whole experience feels seamless on a device I can take anywhere or use right in bed without waking up the rest of the house or dealing with bulky setups. This focus on gaming has been about reclaiming time and mental space. I worked through my Steam and Geog backlogs at a relaxed pace, discovering hidden gems and replaying favorites without any rush. Retro titles from abandonware collections add endless variety, keeping things fresh without new costs. It is a far cry from the days when I felt pressured to optimize every hour for productivity or income. Now my days include these immersive sessions that leave me feeling refreshed rather than drained. I have tuned out the constant news cycle and social feeds using those blocking tools so my attention stays on what matters to me. The piece is profound, and it has shown me that men walking away is not giving up, but choosing wisely. We do not need to grind for validation anymore when we can build lives centered on personal fulfillment. The Odin 2, with its emulation prowess and PC compatibility, has been key to that for me, proving that technology can support simplicity rather than complicate it. As I reflect on the money journey through all this, it becomes clear that chasing high earnings for its own sake often led to more stress than satisfaction. I learned to live below my means, embracing minimalism, which allowed me to cut unnecessary expenses and focus resources on things like the Odin 2 setup that deliver ongoing value. No more keeping up with lifestyles that did not align with my values. This approach lets me sustain myself through content creation on my terms and other flexible means without the 9 to 5 trap. Many men are doing similar things, finding that financial celibacy, meaning not spending on draining relationships combined with low cost hobbies like retro gaming, creates a luxurious simplicity. Wait till I'm children. The peace I feel after a good session on the handheld, whether emulating a classic adventure or running a PC strategy game through GameHub, is something I protect fiercely. It is the kind of cozy contentment that comes from directing your own time, and it is spreading among men who have had enough of the old script. The sobering part is realizing how long it took to reach this point, but the reward is worth it. Society may not understand men walking away, but the data shows it is happening and accelerating. Women outnumber men in jobs now, and the trend holds because the motivation for men has shifted towards self preservation and peace. I do not want to work anymore in that traditional way because I have found something better in these gaming worlds and the freedom they represent. The Odin 2, Portal Max Fex Game Native Game Hub, and vast emulation libraries have become my companions in this new chapter, allowing me to explore thousands of titles while maintaining calm and health. It is a personal story of discovery that resonates with the larger movement, and it feels like the right path forward for anyone tired of the grind. Men are opting out and finding they do not miss the old pressures because the peace on the other side is real and sustaining. This is where we are heading, and it starts with one man deciding to slow down and enjoy the journey one game at a time. The realization that traditional work no longer holds the appeal it once did runs deeper than just a desire for more free time. It touches on how money flows through life and how the pursuit of it can quietly erode the very peace we all seek. For years, the focus was on building financial stability through consistent effort and climbing whatever ladder presented itself, but over time, that path revealed itself as one filled with hidden costs that no paycheck could truly offset. The constant pressure to earn more, to appear successful, or to meet unspoken societal benchmarks led to a cycle where earnings came in, but stress accumulated faster, leaving little room for genuine enjoyment. This is where the shift towards simpler living and immersive gaming becomes not just a hobby, but a smart way to reclaim control over both time and resources. Retro gaming, in particular, offers an incredible value proposition because once you invest in a device like the Odin 2 Portal Max, the world of thousands of titles opens up through emulation without ongoing subscriptions or new hardware purchases pulling at your budget every few months. I have come to see the money journey in gaming as a form of quiet rebellion against the idea that constant productivity is the only path to security. With emulation on the Odin 2 Portal Max using tools like FEX integrated into Game Native and Game Hub, entire libraries of PC games and classic console titles become accessible at virtually no extra cost. The device handles translation layers that allow Windows titles to run on its Android architecture, making it possible to dive into strategy games, action adventures, or immersive role playing experiences right from the comfort of home or even while lounging in bed. This setup turns what could have been expensive console upgrades or gaming PC refreshes into a one time investment that keeps delivering for years. Retro titles from the SNES era, with their tight gameplay and memorable soundtracks, or PS2 games with deeper narratives and expansive worlds, feel fresh again without any need to chase the latest releases that often come with high price tags and short lived hype. The peace discovered here is not accidental. It stems from aligning daily activities with low overhead pursuits that nourish rather than deplete. Many men are finding similar paths, stepping away from high stress careers and using flexible income sources or benefits to support a minimalist lifestyle where gaming fills the hours with satisfaction instead of obligation. As the days unfold with this new rhythm, the sobering truth becomes clearer that the old model of endless work was sold as the route to happiness, but for a growing number of men, it delivered the opposite. Economists tracking these trends note how male participation in traditional jobs continues to decline, not out of laziness, but from a calculated choice to prioritize well being over accumulation. Women may outnumber men in the workforce now, but that leaves many guys free to explore what actually brings contentment. And for me, that is centered heavily on building out this handheld gaming experience. The Odin 2 Portal Max stands out because of its balance of power portability and battery life, allowing long sessions of emulation without constant recharging or performance worries. On Game Native and Game Hub, make the process straightforward, bringing PC games to the device through clever compatibility layers like FEX, which Valve contributed to making it possible to enjoy a wide range of titles that would otherwise require a full desktop setup. Retro emulation adds another layer with smooth performance on PS2 classics, 3 decisiseconds adventures, and even some Switch games, creating a personal archive that feels endless and tailored to whatever mood strikes. This approach to money and time has reshaped how I view the future because instead of grinding for promotions or side hustles that demand more energy than they return, the focus shifts to sustaining a peaceful existence through smart choices. Living below means trimming expenses that do not add value and redirecting what remains toward tools like the Odin 2 that enhance daily life without creating new dependencies. The vast Steam and Golgi libraries become assets rather than burdens when approached at a relaxed pace, working through them one title at a time, while interspersing with retro gems that cost nothing beyond the initial setup. There is a cozy satisfaction in firing up an older game on the handheld controls, feeling the responsiveness and losing track of time in worlds designed purely for enjoyment. It is a far cry from the days when work schedules dictated every hour and left little room for such simple pleasures. Men walking away from the workforce are discovering this same dynamic, using gig opportunities or home based projects only as needed, while dedicating the bulk of their energy to pursuits that restore them, like deep dives into emulation and handheld gaming. The journey through these gaming landscapes has highlighted how peace emerges when external pressures fade into the background. With the Odin 2 Portal Max, the emulation efforts create an environment where discovery feels organic, whether revisiting SNES platformers that emphasize skill and precision, or exploring PS2 epics with rich storytelling that holds up remarkably well today. Effects and the integration in Game Native and Game Hub extend that to PC gaming, allowing seamless play of titles that fit perfectly on the portable screen, with controls that feel intuitive after minimal adjustment. This is not about escaping reality, but about curating a personal space where mental health takes precedence over societal demands for constant output. The sobering wake up call here is that many men have realized the hustle was never going to deliver the fulfillment promised, and stepping back reveals better alternatives that align with natural inclinations toward minimalism and focused interests. Financially, it makes sense too, because retro and compatible PC gaming on handhelds minimizes spending while maximizing variety, keeping life luxurious in its simplicity without the need for high earnings to sustain it. Continuing this path has meant embracing the idea that not wanting to work in traditional roles anymore is a valid and increasingly common stance. The data supports it with workforce shifts, showing men opting for autonomy over obligation and finding ways to make it sustainable through creative means. For my own days, the Odin 2 has become central, allowing me to engage with thousands of games across eras without the mental load of deadlines or performance reviews. The retro aspect brings a nostalgic comfort as emulation breathes new life into classics, making them accessible anytime, while Game Native and Game Hub handle modern PC experiences through those efficient translation layers. It feels like having a complete entertainment hub in a lightweight form that supports the peace I have cultivated by reducing exposure to distracting feeds and news cycles. This setup encourages a slower pace where each gaming session contributes to overall well being rather than serving as a brief distraction from exhaustion. Men in similar situations are building these personal sanctuaries, focusing on hobbies that bring genuine joy and rejecting the notion that value comes only from economic output. The money journey ties directly into this because once basic needs are met through low cost living and flexible income, the pressure to chase more dissolves. Retro gaming exemplifies efficient resource use since abandonware and emulated libraries provide endless content without recurring costs. The Odin 2 Portal Max, with its strong emulation capabilities for older consoles and PC compatibility via Feeks in apps like GameHub, turns a single device into a lifelong companion for relaxation. Sessions spent exploring these worlds create a cozy atmosphere of self directed time that contrasts sharply with the structured demands of 9 to 5 routines. It is straightforward to see why so many are choosing this. The alternative often involves trading health and peace for marginal gains that never quite satisfy. Walking away means recognizing that and building something better centered on personal fulfillment through gaming and solitude. The handheld experience enhances that by making it easy to integrate play into any part of the day, whether morning coffee or evening wind down, all while maintaining excellent performance and battery efficiency. As this perspective solidifies, the broader societal implications become apparent without needing to dwell on negativity. Men are finding peace in these choices, and the gaming world supports it beautifully with technology like the Odin 2, enabling vast libraries through emulation and translation layers. PS2 games, with their blend of action and narrative, 3 to 6 seconds titles that offer portable depth, and SNES classics that emphasize pure fun, all run smoothly, creating a backlog that feels like a personal museum of entertainment. Game Native and Game Hub bridge the gap to PC gaming, making the device incredibly versatile without requiring constant upgrades or high power draws. This financial prudence, combined with the mental clarity from reduced work stress, creates a sustainable model that many guys are adopting quietly. The truth is that after years of striving, the discovery of this calmer path feels like a natural evolution, one that prioritizes long term well being over short term gains. It is a sobering reminder that society pushed a narrative of endless productivity, but individuals can rewrite their stories around what actually nourishes them. Diving further into the practical side of this lifestyle, the Odin 2 Portal Max has proven its worth time and again through reliable emulation performance that handles demanding retro titles with ease. The controls feel premium, allowing for precise inputs in everything from racing games to fighters, while the screen delivers vibrant visuals that make older games pop. FX technology within Game Native and Game Hub opens doors to PC libraries that were previously desktop bound, bringing strategy simulations or open world explorations to a portable format. This versatility means days can flow naturally from one experience to another without setup hassles or compatibility frustrations. The peace found here extends beyond the games themselves to the freedom of not needing to engage with high pressure environments anymore. Men walking away have embraced similar mindsets, using their resources wisely to support hobbies that deliver ongoing returns in happiness rather than fleeting financial wins. It is a straightforward choice once the patterns become clear. And for me, it has redefined what a fulfilling day looks like, centered on these gaming adventures and the calm they foster. The narrative of opting out continues to unfold as more men recognize the value in simplicity and self focus. Financially, the journey involves assessing what truly adds value, and for many, gaming fits perfectly because it is accessible, scalable, and enriching without proportional increases in spending. The Odin 2 setup, with its emulation strengths for classic consoles and PC integration via those advanced layers, exemplifies this efficiency. Thousands of titles await exploration, from nostalgic favorites to underrated gems, all contributing to a sense of abundance in leisure time. This contrasts with the scarcity mindset often tied to traditional work, where every hour feels accounted for and rest is earned only after exhaustion. By stepping away, the equation flips, allowing peace to become the foundation rather than the reward. Retro gaming on the handheld brings a cozy storytelling element to daily life, where each play session weaves into a larger, personal tale of rediscovery and contentment. It is not about isolation, but about choosing connections with digital worlds that respect boundaries and deliver joy consistently. Reflecting on the money aspects further, it becomes evident that minimalism in lifestyle supports this transition seamlessly. By keeping expenses low through smart choices like handheld gaming over multiple devices or subscriptions, the need for high income diminishes, freeing up mental energy for enjoyment. The Odin 2 Portal Max handles emulation of PS2 libraries with their immersive stories, SNES hits with timeless mechanics and more recent compatible titles through GameHub and Game Native, creating a comprehensive entertainment source. Vex plays a key role in making this possible by enabling smooth translation that maximizes the device's hardware. This setup has allowed a deeper appreciation for the craft of game design across eras without the distraction of commercial pressures. Men discovering this piece are building lives that feel authentic and sustainable, prioritizing mental clarity and hobby fulfillment over societal scripts. The sobering part is how long it can take to break free, but once on the other side, the alternative looks unappealing. Walking away means embracing this better path where gaming becomes a cornerstone of relaxed, productive days in the best sense. Continuing to explore these themes, the handheld gaming experience encourages a rhythmic flow to life that traditional work rarely allows. Mornings might start with a quick session on the Odin 2, diving into a retro title that sparks creativity or strategy thinking, while afternoons allow for longer explorations of PC games running via the compatibility tools. The battery life supports extended play without interruption, and the portability means the fun travels with you, maintaining that cozy personal connection wherever the day leads. Emulation efforts have expanded the available options dramatically, with libraries that span decades of innovation, all at no additional cost. This financial freedom reinforces the decision to step back from aggressive earning because the returns on peace and satisfaction are far higher. Many men are reaching similar conclusions, using their skills for occasional flexible work while dedicating the majority of time to interests that sustain them, like these deep gaming engagements. It is a truthful acknowledgement that the old ways no longer serve and something more balanced does. The journey through retro and handheld gaming highlights a profound shift in priorities towards self mastery and calm. The Odin 2 portal. Max, with its robust support for FEX Game Native Game Hub and extensive emulation, creates an environment where discovery never ends. From classic console adventures to PC experiences, the device bridges gaps effortlessly, making it an ideal companion for those who have walked away from demanding schedules. This setup minimizes financial strain while maximizing engagement, keeping life feeling rich and engaging without excess. The peace discovered in these practices is the kind that builds resilience against external noise, allowing men to focus on what matters most to them. It is a straightforward evolution from the hustle mentality to one of intentional living, and for those tired of the grind, it offers a welcoming alternative. Society may continue its patterns, but individuals like me and many others are charting courses that honor their well being through these accessible joys. As the days blend into this new pattern, the value of such choices becomes even more apparent. Money management in this context involves thoughtful allocation toward tools that last and deliver, like the Odin 2, which has become central to maintaining a relaxed yet fulfilling routine. Emulation brings the past into the present with fidelity that surprises and delights, while PC gaming extensions keep things current without heavy investment. The overall effect is a life where peace is not occasional, but integrated, making the decision to not pursue traditional work feel natural and right. Men are finding their way to this space in increasing numbers, recognizing that the alternative often leads to burnout without proportional rewards. This is the sobering wake up call that resonates because once tasted, this freedom is hard to relinquish. The gaming aspect, with its handheld convenience and vast libraries, supports that freedom, perfectly creating cozy moments of engagement that recharge and inspire. Further along this path, the narrative emphasizes how such lifestyles foster independence and contentment. The Odin 2 portal. Max excels in delivering on its promise with smooth emulation for a wide array of consoles and effective PC game handling through the mentioned tools. It allows for thoughtful pacing through backlogs, turning potential overwhelm into enjoyable exploration. Financially, this means resources go further, supporting a minimalist approach that aligns with natural preferences for many men. The peace found here is multifaceted, touching on mental, physical, and emotional levels as the focus shifts from external validation to internal satisfaction. Walking away from the workforce in this manner is not retreat, but advancement toward a better calibrated existence. It is personal in the way it unfolds for each individual, yet shared in the broader movement of men seeking something more authentic. Gaming through emulation and handheld PC play has been instrumental in solidifying that for me, providing endless avenues for relaxation and growth within a sustainable framework. This evolution continues to reveal Lula layers of benefit that were not immediately obvious. The money journey involves learning to value time and energy as the true currencies, and gaming on the Odin 2 honors that by offering high return experiences with low maintenance. Retro titles provide depth and replayability that modern releases sometimes lack, while the compatibility layers ensure versatility. It creates a cozy ecosystem where days feel directed by choice rather than compulsion. The straightforward truth is that many men have had enough of systems that demand much and deliver little in terms of lasting happiness. By embracing this path, they discover peace in solitude and hobbies that nourish. The handheld setup, with its emulation prowess and PC integration, stands as a testament to how technology can facilitate rather than hinder this transition. It is a relaxing way to engage with worlds that respect the player's pace and bring consistent joy without the strings attached to more demanding lifestyles. Building on these insights, the focus remains on how this choice supports long term well being. The Odin 2 Portal Max, with game native Game Hub FX and strong retro emulation capabilities, has transformed downtime into meaningful engagement. Financial prudence allows the setup to shine without constant upgrades, keeping the lifestyle accessible and stress free. Men walking away are crafting similar stories, prioritizing their peace through intelligent use of resources and interests. It is a sobering reflection on how society structured expectations, but individuals can redefine them successfully. The gaming journey becomes a metaphor for this reclamation of time and attention, creating a personal narrative of contentment and autonomy. Each session on the device reinforces the decision to step back from traditional work because the alternative feels infinitely better suited to a fulfilling life. This is where the future lies, for many embracing simplicity and the rich inner worlds available through these pursuits. The evolution of this mindset reveals a profound shift that goes far beyond individual choices and points toward a collective future where men increasingly prioritize their own peace over outdated societal roles. After years of pouring energy into systems that demanded constant output without delivering lasting fulfillment, many men reach a breaking point where the promise of traditional work and relationships no longer holds any appeal. They see the data clearly showing women outnumbering them in the workforce and recognize that the gap will likely keep widening because the motivation to participate has fundamentally changed. Instead of grinding away, in 9 to 5 jobs that erode their health and spirit, these men opt for simpler paths. Using safety nets, they qualify for building small, home based ventures or taking on flexible gigs only when necessary. This walking away is not driven by defeat, but by a clear eyed understanding that their efforts were often taken for granted and that true contentment lies in solitude and self directed living. The peace they discover in this space feels like a long overdue exhale, a cozy realization that life can be rich and satisfying without the endless pressure to prove value through productivity or provision. Men are finding this peace in quiet routines that center on personal interests like retro gaming and relaxed exploration of backlogs that cost little but deliver immense satisfaction. The money journey here is one of deliberate minimalism, where living far below their means frees up resources for simple luxuries that actually nourish rather than drain. Retro gaming stands out as a perfect example because it taps into nostalgia and timeless enjoyment without requiring new purchases or subscriptions, pulling at the budget. Titles from earlier eras offer deep, engaging experiences that can fill days with focused calm, allowing men to lose themselves in worlds designed purely for pleasure. This approach supports a lifestyle where financial celibacy becomes second nature, avoiding unnecessary spending that once tied them to relationships or expectations that disrupted their calm. As more men embrace this, they realize that after decades of striving, they deserve this space to breathe and rebuild on their terms. The sobering truth is that society pushed a narrative of male disposability and now faces the consequences as men listen and step back, choosing peace over participation. This movement gains strength because once a man experiences genuine solitude without external demands, the idea of returning to disruptive dynamics loses all power. Women and the broader system that relied on male labor and support now confront a reality where infrastructure, maintenance, economic productivity, and social structures strain under the absence of that consistent contribution. Men no longer feel compelled to carry the load, especially when past efforts often led to burnout and unfulfilled promises. Instead, they focus inward on mental and physical well being, cultivating habits that sustain long term happiness. Retro gaming becomes a cornerstone of this piece, offering an accessible way to engage with creativity, strategy, and storytelling from the comfort of home. The vast libraries of classic titles provide endless variety at minimal cost, turning free time into a source of quiet luxury where each session reinforces the decision to walk away. Men pursue this future because it aligns with their natural inclinations toward independence and focused enjoyment, creating lives that feel abundant, even in simplicity. The cozy feeling of these days, spent reflecting and playing without pressure, is something they protect fiercely, knowing it is more valuable than any external validation. As this trend accelerates, the implications for women and society become increasingly evident. With fewer men engaged in traditional roles, many sectors struggle to find the workforce needed to keep things running smoothly, from construction and maintenance to innovation and leadership pipelines. Inflation hits harder for those left, shouldering the burdens alone, making single life more challenging without the previous financial and practical support men once provided. Yet men remain unconcerned because their peace is hard won, and they refuse to surrender it for dynamics that previously left them depleted. The straightforward reality is that men have been told they are not needed, and they have taken that message to heart, building self sufficient existences centered on relaxation and personal hobbies. Retro gaming fits perfectly into this, allowing them to explore massive backlogs of titles that evoke joy and nostalgia without tying them to high earning demands. This money journey emphasizes prudence, where resources stretch further in minimalist setups, supporting extended periods of calm rather than frantic accumulation. Society may call for men to return, but the peace discovered in walking away proves far more compelling. The future belongs to men who embrace this path because it offers a sustainable alternative to the exhaustion of constant grinding. They live simply yet luxuriously in their own way, with time as their greatest asset, dedicated to pursuits that restore rather than exhaust. Women navigating this new landscape often face the weight of holding things together alone as economic pressures mount and infrastructure challenges arise from reduced male participation in essential work. Men do not revel in this struggle, but they also do not feel obligated to fix it. having learned that their well being must come first. In this space of solitude, they discover profound contentment through retro gaming and other low key interests that allow deep immersion without interruption. The sobering wake up call lands when men realize how much of their previous life was spent chasing approval that never fully materialized. Now they walk away with clarity, focusing on mental health and peaceful routines that feel like a personal sanctuary. This direction spreads because stories of reclaimed calm resonate with others tired of the same cycle, creating a quiet revolution of opting out. Men will continue pursuing these simple lives because the alternative no longer computes after tasting real freedom. Retro gaming serves as an ideal companion in this journey, providing intellectual stimulation and emotional release through classics that have stood the test of time. The money aspect flows naturally as minimized expenses allow for greater flexibility and less stress around finances. Society and women may adapt slowly or face ongoing difficulties without the previous levels of male involvement, but men remain committed to their peace, refusing to re enter roles that disrupt it. This is not about anger, but about honest self preservation after years of imbalance. The cozy personal nature of these days, spent in relaxed exploration and reflection, builds a foundation of resilience that traditional paths rarely offered. As more men head this way, the collective shift becomes irreversible with peace and autonomy as the guiding principles. Looking further into this future, the emphasis on walking away highlights a recalibration of values where personal fulfillment takes precedence over societal contribution. Men find strength in their solitude, using flexible means to cover basics while dedicating energy to hobbies that bring genuine satisfaction. Retro gaming exemplifies this efficiency with its low cost, high reward structure, allowing extensive engagement across eras without financial strain. Women and society grapple with the voids left behind as workforce shortages and relational imbalances create new challenges that highlight the previous reliance on male participation. Yet men stay focused on protecting their calm, knowing that once disrupted, it is hard to regain. The straightforward truth is that this peace feels like coming home after a long absence, a relaxed state where days unfold without the weight of endless expectations. This lifestyle of simple luxury through minimalism and intentional living spreads because it delivers results that hustle culture never could. Men pursue it wholeheartedly, building legacies of personal contentment rather than burned out provision. The narrative of men walking away deepens as they recognize the long term benefits of prioritizing their own paths. In solitude, they cultivate habits that support lasting health and happiness, free from the disruptions that often accompany traditional relationships and jobs. Retro gaming becomes a vital part of this, offering immersive experiences that stimulate the mind and provide cozy escapes into well crafted worlds. The money journey involves wise restraint, where living below means create space for true abundance in time and peace. Society faces the sobering consequences as women shoulder more responsibilities amid economic and structural strains. But men view this as the natural outcome of being sidelined for so long. They will not return because the discovered calm is too precious to risk. This future sees men thriving in self directed lives where relaxation and personal interests define success on their terms. The movement grows with each man who chooses peace over pressure, creating a ripple effect that reshapes expectations for generations. As this chapter unfolds, the focus remains on the enduring appeal of simplicity and self focus. Men embrace retro gaming and similar pursuits because they align perfectly with minimalist living, allowing deep engagement without excess. The peace in these choices stands in stark contrast to the struggles women and society encounter, without broad male support in conventional roles. Inflation and maintenance challenges compound as the workforce shifts, leaving gaps that are not easily filled. Men observe this without guilt, having earned their right to step back after decades of carrying disproportionate loads. Their simple lives of luxury emerge through intentional choices that value calm above all, fostering a cozy existence rich in personal meaning. This is the direction most men will take because it feels truthful and sustainable, delivering happiness that external systems rarely provided. Walking away marks the beginning of a better aligned future where peace reigns supreme. Further along this path, the benefits compound as men refine their approaches to daily life. Solitude allows for reflection and growth unhindered by external noise, while retro gaming provides consistent joy through vast accessible libraries. The money management in this context emphasizes freedom over accumulation, supporting relaxed routines that prioritize well being. Women may struggle with the new realities of independent provision and societal upkeep, but men remain steadfast in their commitment to personal peace. This sobering dynamic underscores the importance of boundaries and self care after years of imbalance. The future solidifies around men who have found something better in quiet contentment and purposeful relaxation. They pursue these lives unapologetically, knowing the value of what they have built. The closing realization brings everything into focus as men fully inhabit this new era of autonomy. Retro gaming and simple pleasures become anchors in lives defined by peace rather than performance. Society and women adapt to the absence as best they can, while men enjoy the fruits of their decision to walk away. This represents a profound and lasting shift toward lives of genuine fulfillment. The 1 hour gang who made it all the way to the end of this video, I appreciate you sticking with it through the full discussion. If you are enjoying these angry guy videos, you can show your support by buying me a Red Bull using the link in the description of the video. What did you think about what we discussed here today? Do you agree with the direction men are heading and the peace found in stepping away? Leave a comment on the video sharing your thoughts. I read them and value the conversation. Like the video if you like it. Do not forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA men walking away in cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.